this came from that experience. Things to know for compañeros, a No More Deaths Volunteers Guide. Did you know a baby rattlesnake's venom is more lethal because it knows no control? Woolly mammoth tarantulas inch across the road at dusk, not down it. Why did the tarantula cross the road? To eat the chicken. Did you know everything in the desert is as alert as a needle and just as sharp? It is possible to comically sit on a cactus, though you probably won't laugh. Crimson scratches and emerald bruises will be your medals. Did you know when patrolling trails, you may encounter a mountain lion? If so, gather together, stand tall, and wave your arms. When encountering lightning, spread out and crouch close to the ground. Do not confuse the two. Did you know tu español puede ayudar a salvar una vida? Compañero is Spanish for we are in this shit together. Do not be afraid to speak Spanish. Did you know when you don't have a mirror, you can't care what you look like? When you can't remember what a shower feels like, dirt and sweat cake your clothes, and you want to forget everything sticking to your soul, you won't be too shy to skinny dip. Did you know when barrel cacti become tombstones and their yellow starburst blooms offerings for the dead? You won't be too shy to be too cool to belt out Katy Perry songs. Did you know orange poppies grow on slopes? Oak trees in creeks and washes are not fixed cement slabs. A mile in the city is nothing like a mile in the desert, and as the crow flies is an optical illusion to hikers relying on handheld pixelated GPS. Did you know there will be a moment when you fantasize crashing water gallons down on the rocks, throwing off your pack, collapsing on the trail and quitting? This is when you are to stop and rest. There are people in the desert who are never allowed rest. Did you know 1 gallon of water weighs 8.35 pounds? To stay hydrated, a person should drink 1 to 2 gallons a day. Migrants carry a single oil black gallon in calloused hands for a 3 or more day trip. Why is it black? So as not to glow. Did you know migrants are hurried over trails at night and without light? Their blisters are caused by continuous friction, muscle cramping by dehydration, vomiting by drinking bacteria-ridden cow pond water, and those who move too slow are left behind. Did you know to say I could care less is to say it is possible to care more? The careless weed is called bledo in Spanish. In Guatemala, bledo is boiled, drained, and chopped with onions, tomatoes, and cilantro. It grows wild in the desert, and if necessary, can be eaten raw. Did you know I learned about bledo from a Guatemalteca named Nancy? She could share more lessons with you than I ever could. Nancy has crossed twice, and when she talks about her daughter Fatima, she cries. Did you know compañero is Spanish for willing to ask, willing to listen, willing to know? So that's my first poem. Thank you again for being here. And for those of you who are my friends, I know you've probably heard that poem a few times, so thanks for bearing with me. For our first prompt, let me look at my notes. So I actually stole this from a friend of mine, Hazel Kite Witham. She used this poem in her class, and she told me the prompt she used for her students a couple of years ago. So I kind of stole this from her. Thanks, Hazel. This is, did you know? Right now in quarantine, we're all learning new skills, right? There's new hobbies we're taking up. Some people are baking. Some people, if you're me, you're biking. Or you're cooking, you're knitting. So for this prompt, I want you to think about what is one new skill, practice, or piece of information you've learned in the last few months? How has this new information helped you? What can you pass on to others? And why should they know? So again, we're thinking about the last 6 months. I'm sure there is something you've learned, something you've taken up, a practice you have started. For this prompt, I want you to share that information and let us know what it is and describe it in all its detail. Tell us what you learned about it. Tell us what the weird and new things you've learned and what you've realized and why we should know.